Welcome to Microsoft Word, the first of 3 labs dealing with Microsoft Word. If you'll go ahead and open your books to WD 1.1, you'll see that this is where our first lab begins, creating and editing a document. If you have any problems opening up Microsoft Word or you don't have a book, please contact me as soon as possible. Also, if you do not have Microsoft 2010, please contact your bookstore as soon as possible because they have a really great deal on it. That being said, on our first page here, we can see that we have a list of 11 objectives. Each of these chapters, or labs, are broken down into a set of objectives. And the way that this course will work is there will be a small video on each one of the concepts taking you through the labs to prepare you for the homework that is to follow. You'll note as we turn our first page here to WD 1.2, you'll see we have a case study. Each of these chapters has a case study, and you are welcome to read through them. Our first one here is Adventure Travel Tours, and the basic idea behind this case study is to give a little flavor to something that might be slightly dull without it. And so we will be working for Adventure Travel Tours and helping them build some flyers and some documents, at least in Lab 1. As you turn the page again, you'll see that there's a concept preview, and there are 7 concepts here. And very typically, the way this chapter will be broken down is into these 7 different types of concepts. And these are very helpful for as you get to the end of the chapter, you'll see that there is a concept review. And that directly corresponds with the preview. And so if you have any questions when you're doing your homework, you can look at the concept review and then turn back to the appropriate page. As we get started, we can see that it's creating new documents. And you'll see that there are little orange dots on your page, and those kind of give you the bullets of where we are, where we're going. And so the first one merely says Start Word 2010. And if you don't know where to find that, that of course is down here, probably somewhere in your Start menu. You can see mine is right there. It says, if necessary, maximize the Word 2010 application window. You can see mine is already maximized. This is the maximize and minimize button. So make sure you have there. And you'll see on the first page, it gives you some basic ideas of what's going on. We have here flashing on our screen the insertion point. We don't have a vertical ruler. Our book shows a vertical ruler. If you, like me, do not have a ruler, make sure you come up to your View tab up here. Click on that. Come over here and you'll see ruler. Mine's unchecked. I click it, puts a little check mark in the box, and now I have rulers. I'm going to return to my Home tab. As you can see up here in our book, it also talks about this big area up here is called the ribbon. And each one of these are tabs. So often you'll hear me refer to go to the Insert tab. Look for the Illustrations group. You can see the group name here. And you'll find the picture icon right there. You don't have to do any of that, but that's just an example of how you will often hear me refer to the different icons that we're looking for. And also mentions, you can see my little floaty thing here. That's the mouse pointer. And that's about all that it's asking us to name. You turn your page now WD 1.6, we'll see the second part here. You see the little orange number 2. And it says move the mouse pointer to the left edge of the blank document to see it appear as a pointer. You can see there's different types of pointers here, and when you're in text you get a cursor, and we'll talk about all those different things. And it says move the mouse button to the ribbon to see it appear like this. As we keep going on, you'll see that the next thing it says is drag the zoom slider to the left to reduce the zoom until the entire page is visible. Your zoom bar is located at the bottom right hand of your screen. Right now it should be set to 100%, and the slider is right here. What it's asking us to do is to either grab it and move it, or you can use the minus and plus buttons until it looks like it shows on the page WD 1.7. Something more or less like this. Probably there is good. Go ahead and turn the page again. It tells us next to open up our View tab. There's our View tab. And then it says from the document group, so you can see document views as this is a group, we're going to choose draft. And you'll see that there are a handful of different layouts that we use right here. The first one being draft. We click on it, the screen changes to this. It says, if necessary, choose ruler in the show group and to display the ruler. We already turned on our ruler. Then, from the zoom group, click on page width. So you see here's the zoom group of our view tab, and we're clicking on page width. And you can see our cursor has increased because now the entire width of the page is what we can see on our screen. And we're going to type our very first, and we're going to type in Adventure Travail. Note that it's misspelled intentionally. Adventure Travail. And it says, do not press space after typing the last letter. And this is number 1 on 1.9. And then coming down to number 2, it says, press the back arrow or position the I between the E and the I and click backspace. Now, if this seems a little redundant, bear with me, perhaps it is, but as the labs advance, the concepts do get trickier, but we have to start somewhere. It tells us to press the forward arrow to move to the end of that word and then go ahead and click the space bar. That was manually fixing a typing error. Then we're going to type tours for new adventures. So, tours for new adventures. And correct any typing errors as you make using the backspace or delete button. With the cursor positioned at the end of the line, press enter 3 times. 1, 2, 3. You turn the page. You see that the next thing that says revealing formatting markings, and this is very important. I can't stress how important it is to know how to reveal your formatting markings and how to use them, especially when it comes to designing anything in Word. So I'm going to open up my Home tab. It's located up here. And I'm going to go to the Show Hide button, which can be found in my paragraph group. It looks like the traditional paragraph symbol. And when I click that, you'll see that it shows me all of my intermarks. All of my intermarks look just like those paragraph symbols, and you can see the dots in between each word represent spaces. And as we do other things, you'll see that they have different markers for them as well. It's important to note that although my Show Hide is on and I can see this, when I go to print my document, these will never appear, regardless of whether I have them turned on, or of course I can click the button to turn them off, and turn them back on, but regardless, they will never print. So you don't have to worry about that. And of course for this class, we're not going to print anything. However, when you actually use these documents in the real world, I'm sure you'll want to print. So then it tells us in step 2 on page 1.11 to click on the left of the dot after the S in tours, right here. And you'll see my cursor is now flashing there. And then it tells me to hit enter 2 times. And it says us to press delete to remove the space at the beginning of the line. And if you're ever confused behind delete and backspace, delete will delete something in front of the cursor. Backspace deletes stuff behind the cursor. So since my cursor is in front of what I want to delete, I hit the delete button. And then I'll press the down arrow, and you'll note as I press the down arrow and move on to another line, grammar check kicks in, and that green squiggly line says, hey, there's something wrong with this word. And you'll see as we continue on the page, it talks about identifying and correcting errors automatically, and obviously I'm not going to read everything that's on all of these pages. So if you want to read them yourself, you should definitely do so. One of the first things it talks about is checking grammar, which will take us to concept 1.